It is Thursday, October 1st, and I'm your host for Thursdays on the Babybeaverbunch, Cassie. Today we're discussing family trees. I don't know much of anything about my great grandparents. I had a great grandpa who all I know about him is he died of smoking, like lung cancer from smoking, and I only talked to him once on the phone, like a few months before he died when I was really little, so I don't remember anything about him aside from that I had a really awkward phone conversation with him. And then the only other great grandparent I have any recollection of was my grams on my mom's side of the family. She was kind of mean, like she wasn't a huge fan of kids and the noise we made. And I remember that she used to sit in her little wicker basket chair, and she did like word search puzzles all day long. That was all she ever did. And now that I think about it, that's like, she's kind of an adorable woman because when she died, she left me and my brother one of her unfinished crossword puzzles, and that was really sweet. Grandparents. On my mom's side of the family, I have two sets of grandparents. I have my uh, Grandpa Jim and Grandma Brenda, and I have Grandma and Grandpa Sheep, who uh, we call. This is kind of embarrassing. We call them Grandma and Grandpa Sheep because they have a farm, and my oldest cousin Wendy started it. I think calling her Grandma Sheep because she had sheeps. Um, but yeah, she lives in Washington in the middle of nowhere, my grandma sheep, and she used to be married to Grandpa Jim, and until they got a divorce, and um, she remarried later on in life. I was still young enough to call him Grandpa, but my older cousins call him by his first name, and same with my grandma Brenda. They remarried, and my grandma Brenda actually and Grandpa Jim live really close to San Francisco. They live in Vallejo, so and the rest of my aunts on my mom's side and uncle live in Fairfield, so they're around the Bay Area. So I get to see them more now that I live here. But I don't really know much about any of their lives. My grandma Brenda and I get along really well because because she lives in the Bay Area. She's like pretty liberal. I don't know. We've had some pretty good talks. My grandma Sheep and I, we don't necessarily not get along. I love her. She's my grandma. We just don't get along like quite as well. We don't hit it off so great. But she's like really dependable, great person. Um, I don't really have any super good stories like about any of my aunts or uncles or cousins. Oh, my cousin Wendy is a geologist and she got called by National Geographic and they had her write and record a documentary which should be airing this summer. So I'll when it actually airs, I will post a link up on my personal channel and be like, "Look at my cousin! She loves rocks." That's a cool story. On my dad's side, this is kind of more interesting, I guess, because my Oma, I have an Oma too, Haley. Sup, sup. My Oma, she's from Germany, and so she has some really cool stories about the war. Um, I haven't talked to her too much about it. I keep meaning to do that, but I just can't ever find the time. But she sent me a picture of her hometown, which I'll get right now. Hold on, 1 second, be back. This one in the middle is my grandma's hometown. I would tell you what it's called, but I can't pronounce the name. She sent me a picture because I have been asking her a little bit like how she met my grandpa, who I've never met. He lives in Wisconsin. I've never met a lot of the family over there, stuff like that. Asked her about any cool war stories, but she has some really good ones. She told me about literally running from bombs when she was a kid and having to close up a bunch of windows in their house so that planes flying over couldn't see them. I had uncles who were drafted into the war and were both killed at age 26, I think. Um, so there are some really cool stories from my grandma. Well, I don't know why I'm calling her grandma, my Oma, I guess. Yeah, I always call her Oma. I don't know why suddenly I would refer to her as grandma, like, whatever. Okay. But, and then beyond that, I have, a bunch of aunts and uncles, but my family isn't super tight, we don't really, we're not not super, like, a super close family. I'm close with my mom's side of the family, and so I don't really have any stories about aunts, uncles, cousins. I have like 800 second cousins, but I don't even remember almost any of their names. That's really bad, but I just really don't know most of my family. So I wish I had more to put in this week. I don't have much. Our family tree, it's fairly limited, so not a very tight knit family. I have a grandma, a great something, who recently turned 100 because we went to our 100th birthday party, but I don't think I'd ever met her before then. I want to think she's like my grandma sheep's aunt or something like that. She's old. I met a lot of family members who I have no idea who they are that day, and I don't know most of my extended family, so that's the little stories that I have. I'll see you guys next week.